Hello. Um, Welcome to a very unusual event, a very unusual stream, something new, something different than usual. Me streaming, first of all, at this time, at this strange, unfamiliar. Ah! My thing's echoing at me because I have my stream open. Ugh, go. No. Get rid of my voice. Okay. Huh. Um, I'm live at like 8 p.m. What the heck is happening? What's going on? Hi, Callie. Hi, PP. Hi, Meitari. Um, this this is me doing something different, branching out, growing, experimenting. Because today there will be no reading of chat's poetry. There will be no analysis. There will be none of that stuff that everyone normally comes here for. This is gonna be Imogen making art, me doing my art on stream, which is an extremely rare thing, and I think I'm going to try to do this regularly, maybe weekly, maybe twice a week if this feels like a vibe. um and I'm really stoked about it. First of all, because I haven't done much collage in a long time. For reference, I'm going to be doing stuff like this. Maybe not exactly like this today, but this is, some of my poetry that I had typed out on a typewriter. I collaged it. And I was like really happy with a lot of this stuff. I also did some like zines that were much smaller, and this one's like very detailed. I'm very, very happy about like this one. So I haven't done this in a while, and this is something I really enjoy, and think I've made some pretty, compelling art out of this. And, going live sometimes is a good motivation, a good way to get myself to do something. Just to, nail it down. Hi, Ray. What an unusual time for me to be streaming, right? This just feels very unfamiliar and different. It's a whole different vibe. I'm absolutely baffled. Stream setup is also a little different. Y'all might notice here a little bit of a stronger angle than old stream setup. So this is going to be the new orientation. It works a little bit for me. The camera is closer, and it works better for, doing this stuff. And look at how zoomed out it is. You can see my whole hands both ways. There's enough space for entire art pieces to be worked upon, and that's super exciting. So I mean, it's very strange, because I guess I can just like start working on some art. This is very different than like needing to wait for someone to have a poem or to like see who's around. um but generally with collage, I drastically ruined my sleep schedule and woke up to a late night Imogen stream. Yeah, and I think I'm gonna try to have more of these when I can, because just I like doing this, and if this goes well and I find it enjoyable and that I can make compelling art, then I'll keep doing it. Um, but basically, how it tends to go with collage for me is, I take a random magazine or book, and I just start going through and saying like, oh, this thing looks cool. This looks like something I want to, use in the collage. This cliff or that window, or, some interesting words that pop out to me off the page. So this will be like a whole different vibe from the normal stream, just because it's like so loose and so impulsive. And I also think what's cool, right? as I'm like doing this process, because I'm going to cut things out, I'm going to glue them, onto a main page. Maybe it'll be this one, maybe it'll be something else. If anything sticks out to like people in chat, and you're like, hey, yo, I want, this man's face in the collage, then then I can do that. Or I can work this like cool little photo if that catches someone's eye. So I think it can be a little bit like, collaborative, which is kind of cool. Because that's how collage is for me when I just look at stuff and it's like, oh, that looks cool, and having an extra set of eyes might be like a really fun thing, to have chat be pulling up. I'm not sure how much I'm vibing with this magazine in particular. I feel like in my collages, I tend away from like the big like landscape kind of stuff. I mean, it can be okay as backgrounds like I have here, right? But I like the details. I like the textures. I like the really interesting, like things that feel just really interesting out of context, right? And landscapes are not always the best. Also, a lot of this is like hella like advertisements, right? But yeah, it's like this castle's kind of cool, right? So maybe I'll just, it's fun. You're just gonna like rip out pages of stuff, set it to the side, see what's going on, and then eventually, once we like have some ideas, usually like once I have a vibe of what I'm going for with different pictures that are catching my eye, then I'll kind of start to pick out words that feel relevant to the collage, and then start to work those into something that resembles poetry. So yeah, it's just a very like improvisatory loose kind of thing, which is very different than the average stream, and certainly something I'll have to adjust to, but I'm sure it'll be helpful, interesting, compelling in some way. Yeah, I'm not super stoked about these landscapes right now. None of them are totally grabbing me very much. That snow is very pretty though. Yeah, so let me grab a different magazine. I have like a whole bin of just like books, magazines, to just like flip through and pilfer for collage, which is super cool, right? So we'll grab, what is this? This looks like home furniture. I don't know if I want pictures of furniture to flip through for this collage. Some of the words look kind of like, I like this font, although it's all like aluminum is like most of the teak, premium, wicker. Maybe there's something there. It's also very fine though, so it might look strange. We'll set this one to the side for now. Yeah. See, when I started streaming, this is like a newspaper. That's like Western. Might not be a vibe with our castle. This is our castle. That is the one thing I found that's interesting. Piano music. We'll do National Geographic. National Geographics tend to be pretty sick for collage. I feel like they tend to have some interesting, unexpected kind of stuff, right? So that's always cool. I mean, I've cut out the eyes of this pharaoh already. But yeah, this will be interesting, because now this is a stream where I just get to yap. I get to just talk about like whatever I want to talk about while I like find things for collage and point out little interesting, compelling things. Uh and that's how I started streaming. Before I ever streamed poetry, I was streaming calligraphy, and I would just kind of yap, and I would do calligraphy, and it was very fun to just, you know, have this like constant outlet to just be like talking, talking, talking. But it's not something I'm so used to anymore because I've been doing the poetry streams, and those have just been very like, I'm just like following something. I'm like doing a process. And I like this person. I really like people's backs, um, just as a general thing. Uh, like I think it's a very compelling image to be like looking at someone from behind. That's just a perspective I've always enjoyed, and if we have like, I don't know, this person kind of on top looking at this castle, there could be some idea of longing for something different, or for a better time, or a simpler. Yeah, that could be kind of the vibe of the piece. Might be interesting. Yeah, that mouse. It's a little guy. I don't know if that's a mouse. It's a male brown Antechinus. I don't know what that is. Something from Australia, it says. Oh, look at these guys. Macaws. Those are dope. Got like photos. Not sure how I feel about like photographing like indigenous people and writing articles about them. Though, hopefully they did so like ethically and well. Look at this guy. Yeah, National Geographic has lots of cool stuff though. Lots of cool images, and tends to break away from just entirely like, ads of like American products. Bonus Ginny, how delightful. Yeah, Nikki, and I'm gonna be doing some collaging today, or tonight, I guess. Ripping up some magazines, cutting up some things, trying to throw some poetry on top. And I like the damage done. Those are good words, that might go into a collage. Maybe I'll just grab, all of this text is similar, so all of that might, hopefully the ripping doesn't peak the microphone too much. If there's any point that like the sound is too loud for any reason, do let me know, because this is my first time doing a stream like this. Look at that skull. Yeah, but we're collaging, we're making some poetry, and that's the shtick. In the style of things I used to do, which I've shown sometimes on stream. I don't know if you've seen them, Nikki. Did I just hit that? I've made like collage with poetry before, often, and I want to do more of that because I like it and it's fun. So let me get my knife. The damage done is just a good poetic, right? We've even got alliteration happening in that, and just like it's a good well-known phrase. Like it takes us in an interesting direction, especially with our castle, antiquity, colonialism, wealth, castle, the damage done, the looming influence of the past is interesting, and maybe ancient is then also a good word that we can use. So I'll pull some of these out. And yeah, I think those are the ones that stick out to me. Should we of the past? These are all like good words, which can definitely be like rearranged into different stuff, and we can make hopefully a little more poetic. And I can always take more of these out in a bit, but just like choosing some that I kind of vibe with, that I feel like might be a starting point for the piece, is good just to have an idea of like where we might want to go, what we might want to do. So that's where we'll start. Visible. Do visible. You know, there's like of the past, visible, the visible past. If we like cut some of these words up further, the visible past, the damage done, da 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 da. Should we? There's some interesting directions to go with those. So we'll leave those up here as potential words that we might want to do. Oh, masterpieces. Sometimes it's always good to flip the pages over, because you can find little masterpieces of words to grab. Masterpieces. Cool. So that's a start. That's a few words. And I'll get that magazine again that I threw somewhere and keep going through it. This might be a different one. Oh, it's the same. So we have a castle, wherever the castle went. I find myself very quickly like losing track of things whenever I collage, which is okay. We have a castle, we have some stuff about the past, about masterpieces, about damage. Gives us some contrast, some different things. And as always, I guess as always, not really, because this is like new, but if anything sticks out to anyone and you're like, oh, that part of that image really strikes me or could work within the piece, like definitely let me know, because I flipped through these pretty quick. And we have sharks. I don't think sharks necessarily fit incredibly well in what we're doing, although this looks like a cool shark poster. Dude, I love me a fold out poster. This has, look at all these sharks, dude. This is also like the other thing that I like about collaging with the National Geographics, that it's like, dude, you find like cool little informational things and like sometimes I'll get lost in reading an article and just like learn something, you know. Returns to life is very much a line of text that fits with some of our vibes so far, given our idea of the past, but also like beautiful things being visible, things being masterpieces. I think the past is death is sort of a compelling notion. Certainly big. This would have to act as some sort of title, or like a big bold word that sticks out. But that's a cool thing about doing the cut up collage poetry, is that, you know, some words are bigger, some words are smaller, and that naturally makes certain things jump off the page or become more important. And it's like it's a limitation that you have to work around as an artist. And limitations can be really useful, You know, it's the same as, let's say, a writing prompt that says, you're gonna write within these ideas. and and if you do so, you generally come up with stuff that you never would have expected. And that's good. We could put a Jeep on the collage. This big old honking car. Probably not. I'll grab another one. And I like trying to just take from lots of different magazines, lots of different places, because it just gives more chance to like find surprising things. And look at that. What is this? Kudzu. In its own destructive way, kudzu is impressive. A relative of the pea, the vine was introduced to the United States from Japan in 1876, and then it became invasive. Grows up to a foot a day? That's crazy. That's so cool. Welcome in, Bird Banes. We're working on some collaging and maybe making some poetry out of words that I'm cutting out of magazines. Normally on stream I like read people's poetry, but this is the time of me making my art. And if there's anything here that like jumps out to you or you think would be cool in a collage, let me know, because we're still just trying to figure it out. I have a few words pulled out: returns to life, masterpiece, ancient, damage. But it could still go in like a lot of different directions. Look at that cow. I feel like I'm gonna be saying this a lot on stream. Like, ooh, look at this thing. Look at that cool thing. These guys are cute. That's kind of fun that I can just sit on stream and yap about all of this while I do it. Kind of more pleasant than when I'm sitting in silence, right? When I'm sitting in silence and it's sort of uh just me, it can be a little like man, like what am I what am I doing? It's silent, it's miserable, it's a lot. Um and but being able to just yap my thoughts, like if I was sitting alone, I would feel probably even more crazy if I was just talking to myself. And I mean, it's okay to feel crazy, right? But yapping about this is fun. Yes, this watch goes crazy with return to life. I definitely really enjoy in general like working with time in my pieces, and even this piece that I was showing earlier has these like clock faces as like, I don't know, like clouds or hills. And I love geometric things, right? Circles, lines, these sort of like cosmic kind of shapes. So yeah, I like the word class from the page. Can string it together. Oh, class from the watch page. Yeah. Okay. We can bring that one in. Class. Yeah, we do. Right. We have like class. We have masterpiece. Even like ancient, which has this idea of like class is like wealth, right? There's also like, right, upper class, even like what we have on the page originally. We could also take it in like a class, like a teaching, like an education direction, which could be, compelling. Who knows? The whole upper class thing is interesting with this castle that we pulled out earlier. So there's that too. I'm gonna leave the watch like this for now, just because, there's no reason to cut it small now when I might want the edge, when I might just want to take out a little sliver of this. So usually I try to keep them like with as much extra space as I can. And then, go from there. Could we fit the 78% off somewhere? Maybe, right? Uh, it definitely, it leans us in a different direction. But might as well take it out because it is a very just like surprising, unexpected. It's even in red, right? Which most of what we have out of here is this like black and white. So red 78% off could be pretty fun. Sorry, I'm a goof. No, it's cool to do like comedic uh poetry as well and like funnier, lighter stuff. Um I have this really weird collage that I did that was just very absurd. Um that is It's called I'm Not Green, and I didn't know what I was doing with this or why I was doing this, but it just has these red eyes, and it's called I'm Not Green. I quest within a hero who faces fully, uh, who faces fully the victim of redefined past, and I underlined red. uh, Art, black from war, plans for a new unity. I am wrong for us. Oh, rage sounds really loud. Um, yeah, this one was just very absurd and like very like I was just putting stuff together because it was fun. Welcome in, Jessica. Oh, Jessica. Um, we're collaging. We're cutting things out of pages, and you know, finding what words and what things like catch our eye and trying to make it something interesting. Poetic, maybe artistic, funny. Who knows? Um, and just cutting out like interesting things right now. Don't necessarily have a conception of where we're going with the piece other than this watch, which is kind of cool. 78% off. And then these like returns to life, like ancient past and present time kind of things. So like we have some ideas, some concepts, but still pretty loose. Still pretty like who knows. I was lurking before I ended my stream. Excellent. I don't How do you do that? Like I feel like when I'm streaming, right? I am like so locked in on what I am doing that like and maybe it's because I don't get like notifications on any things, right? Um that like I have no idea who else is live. I don't see any of that. And the idea of like even being able to manage like opening someone else's stream just to lurk like while I'm live seems like wildly impossible to me. But my brain is a very like one track kind of affair. I like it a lot. Welcome back, Birdbanes. Uh, it would be hilarious if this turns out to resemble a ransom letter. It very well might, and sometimes they do. I'm trying to think. It definitely depends on how like sparse you are. I have a few other things that I've done, where like when things are a little more sparse, this isn't quite ransom letter where it still feels kind of like artistic. But I feel like if you go like too heavy with the words and just start to like throw too much stuff on it, right? It gets a little it can get ransom lettery. Doing like different angles helps too. I think it keeps it interesting, right? Where you can avoid some of that stuff. So there's ways to do it. Welcome in Ink and Play. Love word magic. Yeah, I guess I guess that's what we're doing. We're doing word magic. I like that a lot. We're throwing a bunch of words into a pot and mixing them around and seeing how they stew together, right? Um, and that's pretty cool. That's intense. That's like war and stuff. This is cool. I've looked through this magazine before. This is like some art piece that's involving PTSD and like masks, which is like pretty intense, right? Yeah. But yeah, making magic with words. I think that's a beautiful way to put it. Yeah, these are like dope. These are not maybe the vibe of the piece that we're doing today, though, since I think we've gone a little bit lighter, potentially, with like 78% off. Although that could be a very like sarcastic kind of remark that we pull in. I'm not sure. Obviously, at some point, I wanted this guy's tattoos on a collage. Yeah, Jessica, you say, I think it's turning out really cool so far. I love that you're using that little tool. I always use scissors. Yeah, the X-Acto is pretty nice for the collage, just to get those, especially if we do like tight edges. Like I might go around this watch and cut it out real nice. And with some of the super fine stuff, I mean, we can see I did it on like these mountains or even these watches. On this piece, that the scissors can be a little too like crude of a tool or too blunt of a tool, where it doesn't have that precision. I do also have a scissor. I do have a scissors, because sometimes the X-Acto isn't as necessary, right? Lots of tools. Well, one can also use like the paper cutters and the guillotines that cut real straight lines and stuff. I think I have one of those around somewhere. It might be downstairs actually. I love seeing the stuff like this in like the National Geographic magazines that is like so absurd and quirky that I would just like never like use this in a poem, right? Or in a collage poem or a collage. But like, maybe there's someday where I would. And that's kind of a beautiful thought. Look at this guy. Who are you? Oh my gosh. Heavily armored scudacarid mites hitch ride on larger arthropods, including other mites, their mites, in their search for food, tumbling off when they arrive at a source of fresh fungi and other microbes. Look at this guy. I mean, that's part of why I love doing the collages, is you just see this like really interesting stuff, especially flipping through the Nat Geos. And then there's like pretty landscapes. I usually take the whole page and cut all words for use later. Well, yeah, I try to. I guess I don't try. It just like naturally comes to me that I think I limit it a little bit more in what I choose to cut out, because then it keeps the scope of the thing smaller. Look at this fox, he's so cute. And if it gets too big, then I'm like, I have too many options and it just doesn't work. War is a double-edged sword. Oh, you're referring to the thing earlier. You send people to their deaths in battle but never fight your own. Yeah. Bodies and minds come back badly mangled, unlike your ideals that remains pristine. Damn. See, Birdbanes, you're already getting poetic in here. That is, I mean, yeah, that is war, right? You have this idea, this suggestion that like it could be valorous and good, to be killing and bombing, and that we create these sort of propagandistic narratives of protection and policing, and it's a whole thing, and like it's horrible, right? We have we have this piece about war and PTSD, and this is about some conflict in the Middle East, right? I don't know if they're talking about like they're talking about Iraq, but like America has been at war in the Middle East for like literally my whole life and longer. And like literally I don't think I've lived in like the country I live in for my entire life has been like killing people in the Middle East, and that's just been like normalized. I mean, it shouldn't be normal. It shouldn't be normalized. Ooh, buy time, guys. That word that fits great in our poem. Buy time, right? We have this like buy time like 78% off. Okay, like I'm gonna do will buy time just to have the extra word connected if I want it, like I was saying earlier. Um, but I mean, like buying time at a discount. That's a cool. That's a cool idea, right? That's really cool. Do you do any digital work on Photoshop or GIMP? No, and I feel like I probably would have fun with that, right? Because at that point you can just throw like anything together and like do all these crazy effects and like shader kind of things and just like go crazy with it, right? And um but I feel like I would probably get a little overwhelmed, by all of that, all the options. And like it's always been the case that just having something like right in front of me is easier, right? I'm asking because I've made PNGs of words from my collages to make digital art. That's cool. I used to do a little bit of like painterly kind of digital art. Like it's something I was practicing for some time, like a year and a half ago. But I don't like I'm Procreate, but I don't do it anymore. uh, let's see. I was doing yeah, I mean, here's like the one original piece that I ever actually did. Um, that this was about like bipolar disorder. Um, but then I was doing some like copying images and like sort of still lifestyle things, right? Uh, like I guess like studies. I was never really having fun with it, and I think that's why I didn't stick with this because um it was just not that fun. Like, and I thought it was cool that I could like make things that looked relatively decent. Um, yeah, this was me doing a piece every day, and I lasted like I don't know how many are here. I lasted like 2 weeks. Like literally, the first one I drew this egg. It's very bad. It's very lumpy. It's not straight. And then after a week, I had done this one, and I was like, okay, this is like kind of cool. That looks like a bottle, right? Um, and then I next week, I had done this hand. You like the hand? Thank you. I feel like I got really, really like frustrated with the hand and just it was very hard for me to do that one. Uh, and then I got to these shapes, and then I had just burnt myself out. And I'm like, I'm done. I'm not doing this anymore. Uh, oh, this was like 2.5 years ago. Um, and then and then I did this piece after I got out of like the psych ward. Um, 220/24. So that was 2 years ago. Um, and then it just like I needed to make something, and this was just very like intuitive. And then I tried to get back into a little bit of this later and just wasn't having it. Actually, hitting things. That's the extent of my digital art experience. I love the tactile. I stay away from most 2D art forms. 3D is my jam. I like that collage is 2D, but it has this aspect of 3D where we can start, like stacking things on top of each other. And I keep pulling up this one because I like it a lot, where we have like the background, we have the ink, we have like the layers of things. I mean, this is like 5 layers of paper on top of each other, right? Even actually the house on top of the score, on top of 3 mountains, on top of clock, on top of colored thing, on top of paper, right? And I do love that, right? uh yeah. I have Jessica, I've scanned, like when I do these things, I scan them, and actually, like, I could very well distribute this zine as like a print and fold yourself, or I could print out more of them from the scan, right? Uh, because I've scanned the whole page. But so I do have them digitized if I do ever want to, like, go in that direction. Anyway, uh, back to back to this, back to our words. So we have just collected. I like that collecting words. We've collected change, save, is coming due, and will buy time, which I think like really helps to unify some of this stuff, right? Buying time, watch, returns to life. There's even a pun there with like return in like a financial sense, right? Save and change both have a financial and like meaningful kind of interpretation, right? Save as to like, save, but save as to like save money, and then change as change, and change as coins, right? Uh, and then 78% off, an actual price. Uh, yeah, interesting things going on, right? 78% off returns to life. That's funny. Um, it's like you can come back to life too for only 99.99, and if you call now, you can get 78% off this incredible once in a lifetime offer. Um, we could go in that direction, like call now. Um, it's funny. I've been thinking about those commercials a lot lately. Just those like awful TV commercials, like 99.99, and if you call now, we'll double the offer. Like it's so annoying, right? Oh, and I love these ads. I love these ads that are like, great, 84% off, right? 78% off. Like, all of this is like absolute bullshit, because like they're not selling like a genuine thing, right? This $299 price necklace for $49, right? Like, plus shipping and packaging. Uh, yeah, like it's very funny. But they have these in all the National Geographics. This company like Stour, that sells these like really like sort of scammy looking like jewelry and watches, and uh even like they're like, get your like rare coin, like US seal, I don't know. uh you see these a lot in the National Geographics. I haven't really like used them much. Returns to live instantly. Yeah, that's cool. Treasure, I like that word. Oh yeah, treasure, secret treasure. I'll take the whole thing for now. uh Solomon's secret treasure found. That's so funny. like these are actually just really goofy, right? These ads and stuff. Imagine if clerics in games offer limited time only discount. Bring your companion still fresh body to the temple near you. Sanity not included. Yeah, you can get your resurrection um with free shipping and handling. um yeah, that's great. Um, that's really funny. I That would be such a great like D&D encounter of like the scammy priest who's um like doing weird shady things with resurrections and oh, that'd be great. I've always thought like there's so many like funny scammy things to do with magic in like these like RPGs where the first thing I feel like I remember ever thinking, right, is like uh somebody in my group had like the summon animals, the conjure animals spell at 5th level, right? 3rd level spell. And I'm like, wait, why don't you conjure 8 horses and then sell the horses, right, in this town? And then we will like dip out of here since we've like made our money with these expensive horses. And then the horses will disappear in an hour because we cast them with a spell, right? And maybe that's just like I mean, it's scammy, right? It's a way to make enemies and like be a chaotic, awful D&D player. But magic, magic seems like it has the great potential for scams. I mean, even in our real life world, where we don't have real life magic, we just have like sleight of hand. Um, uh, that's generally associated with scammy, right? Because they're like deceiving you. I just submitted an excerpt of my novel to 5 developmental editors. That's awesome, Callie. That's a super dope step to take. I don't really know what a developmental editor is, but I know that sending stuff places is good. Um, and that's always a good thing. But what does that mean? Do they like help you? Look at this, guys. Guys, look at this article. This little excerpt. It says Viking gender bender question mark. At first glance, a gilded silver figurine from Denmark appears to be a woman wearing a long dress, standing 1.85 inches tall and pierced for stringing. The figurine would have hung from the neck of someone important, possibly a priest, in the 9th century. Clau Fayol, curator at the Ostfinns Museum, studied the pendant after its discovery last April. He believes it may represent a Norse deity, a goddess, or perhaps even a god, in the guise of a woman. The way the figure is standing, with the hands in front of the belly, we know from a few other figurines, he said. They are naked and clearly men. Guys, transcoding has existed forever. um, that's kind of fun. It's kind of cool. Um, yeah. Or be a traveling horse salesman selling horses at insanely cheap prices, and then they go poof 3 hours down the road. Right. Yes, exactly. But maybe that's a service you could just give and sell it honestly and be like, I'll give you a 3 hour horse. And it's like super cheap. And it's like the equivalent of renting a horse. But you know they're never going to give it back because the horse will just disappear. Like they don't have to worry about like, you don't have to worry about them stealing your horse. It's like if you give me, 2 copper pieces, insanely cheap price. It's like an Uber, right? Yeah. Like every fantasy world with like animal conjuring, right? I mean, it depends on the prevalence of magic in your setting, but you should just have like summoned Uber type horses, you know? um, I've got to go to sleep, Jenny, but I hope your collage turns out great. Maybe share it in the Discord for me to see it. Yeah, yeah. Absolutely. I will post it if we finish it tonight. Uh, Depends on how locked in we get. I do feel like we like almost have enough words, and then it's just a matter of like once the poem comes together, it can be a lot like sometimes, right? You do the poem first and then you like build the visuals around it. Sometimes you like I'll see something beautiful and have the idea for like the scene, and then I will, build the poem around the scene. Sometimes they like emerge together. I think this one will probably make the poem first and then like maybe go hunt down individual elements, right? That really fit our poetic venture. uh has a future. This goes with our like past time resurrection kind of vibe, which is pretty cool. So we'll grab that one too. Da-da-dum. Has a future. Who has a future? I don't know. $49 has a future. I also like something surreal. I don't know if I'll use that one, but it's kind of fun. I need to allocate a little bin. I had one where my collage stuff used to be. This is the first collage stream because I just finally moved my collage stuff next to my stream setup. But usually the extra words, if there's like any good stuff, I'll try to keep them for later. So I need to make that little tray or whatever. They help me develop stuff like concepts, characters, plot, and setting. That's cool. So they're like an editor who goes like, yo, this character, maybe you could develop them in this way, or what if you took this in this direction? Like a more generative thing as opposed to something more just like proofready. That's cool. I guess that's not something we really do with poetry, right? Which is why I'm not as familiar with it, because poems are just poems. And yeah, I've never heard of such a thing within that medium. Trying to like make odds and ends of all of these pieces of paper. This tends to happen when I collage, where I just make like an absolute horrific mess of paper around me, and like y'all see the pretty like cutting board. You do not see the way that the paper is very quickly invading my whole room, right? Rent a horse for 3 hours and never needing to return it or feed it, right? Yeah, like that's a cool business model for our fantasy entrepreneurs out there. So like you better have a really good reason to be adventuring once you're at 5th level in D&D, because there are so many easy ways to make money. I think this is like roughly enough words to start outlining something roughly poetic, right? With this returns to life as our big like centerpiece. Yeah. Wait, the damage done is coming due is like a crazy, that's a bar. Uh that's super a bar. Um the damage done is coming due. It's got like this like assonant and like alliterative internal, guys, that's a bar. That's in. That's just in, you know? Ah, the damage done is coming due. That's like verse. That has a meter. The. That's iambic. That's crazy. I'm not gonna try to write metrical poetry with collage, but it's crazy. um, look, we have like this visual thing going on. If I do the damage done is coming due, ancient change, right? Like we could have like try to do something visual with the um the words where they're like split by color like this for part of it as like a stanza. That could be cool. The damage done is coming due. Ancient change. Uh, hmm. Ancient change visible. Hmm. I might need more words in that, but that page is somewhere. I moved it. It was that Florida page. Uh, and then I like lose things. I'm like, where did the Florida advertisement? Not advertisement. Uh, the Florida part. There's the Florida part for that same kind of text. Um, and this is where we can start like looking for specific things to work into it. The damage done is coming due. Ancient change. So then we have like visible probably because ancient change of the past just seems a little redundant. Ancient change. So we can do masterpieces or visible. Interesting. Visible around the past. The costs. Visible. The costs of the past. Okay, so this will be like the opening of the poem in some capacity, or the end. I don't know. And then like somehow we'll work in like this like absurdist like discount line, and it will just be a very tonally visible. The costs of the past. Yeah, cool things going on. Will buy 325 carats, save $49, has a future, visible, of the past, the damage done, something surreal instantly, $87.50, secret treasure, will buy time, class. Heck yeah. Wait, that's a vibe. That definitely very much does like the uh comedic direction, right? Where it's just all these like words. I have this blackout poem, Bird Banes, that I did a while ago. That what you just put like reminds me of it. It's on the wall. Just the way it's so like scattered. I love this poem visually as well. It's called Method of Carcass. This was from a cookbook talking about like different cuts of meat. Um, Method of Carcass. Whole leg, 1. Shank, 1. Thick shank, half of leg, 1. Thick half of leg, short leg, 2. Low, 1 + 2, short leg, bone and stuff. Oh, raise shoulder, chops, 1 + 2, royal, raise, chops, 1 + 2, royal, raise, chops, 3, raise, royal, chops, 5, raise, framed shoulder. 7 + 8. Oh, raise, shank, end of framed shoulder. 7 + 8. Oh, raise, blade end. You. Ewing and raising hand, you, 6. Slices, raise 5 plus 7 plus 8, raise 1, 2, 3, oh, raise 5 plus 7 plus 8, oh, oh, oh. 4 plus 6, oh, 10, oh, raise, or royal, head, 9, raise, oh, oh, finish, shoulder, 7, oh, shoulder, 8, oh, spare, oh, oh, oh. That's a method of carcass. I had so much fun with this one. I did it like it was at this like event. Um, at go back on the wall. Um, it was doing it at this event that like I don't know. It was at like the local university, and they're like um their one of their programs, like their one of their writing programs had like a table set up where people could like do blackout and cut out poetry and that kind of stuff. And then they had like a little like open mic where people could read them. And I had so much fun just like performing that one. It's very like uh, super super fun to perform. Like the just the numbers, the random words, the O's, it was cool. So yeah, will buy 325 carats save $49 has a future visible of the past, the damage done, something surreal instantly 8750 secret treasure will buy time class. Reminds me of an old radio advert I used to know. I can share a YouTube link if you like. Yeah, you can send it. I don't. Yeah, I can probably watch it now. I'm not gonna like share the screen and like pipe it through stream because sometimes things break. Uh, but that's kind of cool. Uh, got this kid playing tennis. Oh, poor kid. Sorry that y'all can't see this on stream.
I've got to be honest with you, George. I think your son has natural ability. Legacy. One day he may be number one.
Oh, that's super funny. I've like experimented with writing poetry like that where um like I was trying to write a poem about censorship where I would start saying like really like inflammatory things and then start to have words cut out where I would like speak one word and then mouth the next words and then like speak different words and it would like change the meaning of what I was trying to say where it went from like anti-government to pro-government. Um, but I never really super delved into that idea deeply. But it was a good one. It was a good idea, and I like it. I think when we're talking about a form like the spoken word, the absence of a word can be, just as powerful. Where if you mouth a word and it leaves, you can either create so much expectation of the word you're gonna say and then not say it. Um, like I've seen someone do that with like silence, where they set up a bunch of rhymes and then, and they said like, and I will be, and they mouth silent, um, and after setting up the expectation that we would hear that word, and it was just really like, really powerful. Um, yeah, so there's some things to do there. Um, Also fits into the whole here only the good stuff theme nicely. Yeah. Um, I wonder if there's a way to like break these up and have like multiple poems happening at the same time. Um, where like you just have this like really strange like cutting this up with like the weird like capitalistic shouting, right? Ancient change. So you could read it like two ways. Ancient change, visible. The costs of the past is coming. Wait. I think this got mixed up. Um, the costs. Maybe this is how it was. But like ancient change, visible. The costs of the past coming due, masterpieces. I think this, I had it some other way, but then like having these like random interjections that are just very like out of nowhere and really like loud could be kind of cool. um I like using 78% off and then 84% off because it's like 78% off. Oh, you don't want that one? How about 84% off, like raising the discount. Um, ancient change, visible. Visible, the costs of the past. I don't know. Oh, right. The damage done is coming due is what I had before. The damage done is coming due. Ancient change. Okay. $49. Art of the past. Whoa, wait. Oh. Okay, that's a cool option. Um, masterpiece. Okay. Yeah. Um, uh, yeah. That's super cool. Okay. $49. Art of the past. Masterpieces. You could do like discounted then. 78% off. The damage done. The damage done instantly. Damage done instantly. Ancient. The costs of ancient change. Okay, wait, this is like dope. Secret treasure visible. Something surreal. There's something here. Climate save masterpieces instantly. That's an option. The cost of secret treasure. Ooh, yeah. Yes. Damage done instantly. The costs of secret treasure. Something surreal. Save. Like, Something surreal. 84% off. And then we have this like raising. It sounds like a riddle to Dungeon Treasure. Yeah. $49. Art of the past. Masterpieces, 78% off. The damage done instantly. Wait, the costs of secret treasure. The damage done. Maybe we can bring in that there. It doesn't totally. The cost of secret treasure. Oh, wait. The damage done is coming due. The cost of secret treasure. That's crazy how that's verse. That's like a isn't that's like straight up a ballad. The damage done is coming due, 8 syllables. The costs of secret treasure. Yeah, it's like a ballad with a tag. Uh oh, the cost of secret treasure 87.50. Yeah. Yeah. Um okay, wait. Instantly. The cost of secret treasure 87.50. Something surreal. I don't like climate. This can just go away. 84% off. I want like save me. um, ancient. Oh, buy ancient. Wait. It's like yeah, it's like saying like buy crypto, but it's like buy ancient. I like that. Buy ancient. There's a few other things here. There's like add up. I don't know if that works great. Um, there's also like the globe. Buy ancient, change the globe or something like that. Um, oh wait, has a future, right? Like an investment thing. $87.50 will buy time seems potentially interesting. 87.50 will will buy time. That's interesting. Yeah. 87.50 will buy time. $49. Art of the Past masterpieces 78% off. The damage done is coming due instantly. The cost of maybe this has to go at the end. This is the turn. This is like the reality of the joke. The cost of secret treasure 87.50 will buy time. Hmm. Hmm. Maybe like 84% returns or something. Ending with climate has a future. Maybe. I don't know if I actually like the word climate. It just happened to come up, but I do that maybe does work. Um there's also like the globe has a future. There's also like something surreal has a future. Um a future is coming instantly. Or like the future is coming. Change has a future. $87.50 will time. Change has a future. 78% off something surreal. Ooh, that's tasty. Um, uh, what did you say? Um, you said the future has change or change has a future. Yeah. I do like the future, right? We have the past and we have the future. I think like we should like end with start with the past, end with the future maybe. Um so we have like we don't actually have the future, but we could. Well, we have our future, right? Um A future, right? We have change. Oh, I see. A future has change. Gotcha. Uh, change has a future. Hi, Leon. Welcome in. We're uh, we're collaging. We're making poems out of words cut up from magazines. Having much fun. A future is coming due. A future is coming. uh, hmm. Climate change has a 325 carat future. That's kind of funny. Um, I feel like I don't want to use straight up climate change because the poem is more about like plundering art, right? Where's that other page? That originally. Oh, we also have some other like other words here, right? We have like priced. These might help potentially. We could always like find more numbers. Oh, like all caps take is kind of powerful now. Um, I like how this says finally luxury built for value, not for false status, and it's like an advertisement to get a $49 watch that's 78% off or whatever. 87.50 will buy time. Future has change. Will buy time. I see. Future has change. That's interesting. Uh take. I like take. Take is almost like a title here, you know. Is there a call 1-800 number to add to the collage? Yes, there is. We can do a 1-800 number because we were talking about that. Uh, guys, look, here is the special offer code if y'all are trying to redeem this deal from like probably 10 years ago. Just so you know. Feel free to take it and try to use that code at www.stour.com. Okay, 1-800 code to call. Okay. We're getting to a lot of words. Take goes well with something surreal. Yeah. Yeah, lots of these things go well together. It's just like pinning it down, you know. Like it's time to like nail down a poem, you know. Um and we have like a lot of so I like 8750 will buy time, you know. I like the opening that we had. Um $49. Art of the Past. Oh wait, Art of the Past has a future. Masterpieces 78% off. 8750 will buy time. And do something like that. Do some like interesting shape there. And then Secret Treasure 84% off. Maybe this should be like we could do it here. That's fine. So then we just have like all these deals, right? And we can even do Is there call? Do we have call? It's funny there's like no big like call. You know, there's just the phone number. I wonder if the other ad is somewhere. I lost it. The cost of the damage done is coming due. Yeah, the damage done is coming due is something we definitely like that one. Guys, so what is with this? Stour changed their phone number between these two issues of National Geographic, and I'm not sure I like that. Um, it'd be kind of funny if like we like stuck the phone numbers together and they were like it was like not even a phone number at that point. Uh you can probably read them out loud like a radio commercial, hype it out. Yeah. Um uh Now you just need to find those words somewhere. Oh yeah. Um the cost of the damage is coming to you. Price change. Ooh, price change is dope. Uh uh Yeah, because this is the turn into like heavy stuff, right? Priced change, the damage done is coming due, the costs of something surreal. This is like the why are we doing this? Capitalism is brutal. Why are we plundering everything and buying time and secret treasure and all of that? Do like phone number here. Oh, we can do like both phone numbers actually. So it's like being bombarded by different ads for different things. Uh, so then the National Geographics are great. We'll just grab all sorts of random, like, ancient kind of looking things and just throw them onto the back of the collage and make it super, like, overstimulating, right? Yeah. Okay. I like add up as like the shift, where like when you add it up, you know, um, while stock lasts. Ooh, where is that? Um, where is that? Offer code. Is there a while stock lasts? Am I missing it? Am I crazy? Oh, you're asking if there is. I don't think there is. Um, this thing is so funny. um, I get a very Fight Club vibe from all of it. Yeah. Your satisfaction is guaranteed. You should use that. Oh, yeah, from the middle. The little words. Let me pull that one out. Okay. Little letters. Those ones are tough. Oh, this looks fun. This is super fun, VIP Marissa. We are making collage poetry, cut up poetry, and this is a very silly, sarcastic, somewhat heavy poem uh, about buying ancient goods. uh, $49. Art of the past has a future. Masterpieces 78% off. 1-888-870-9513. $87.50 will buy time. Secret treasure 84% off. 1-800-973-3089. And then I think that's like where we turn. I think that's where we go like the damage done is coming due. That's where we like get all It's where we get all heavy with it, right? The costs of something surreal. Priced change. Maybe, I don't know. Um, ancient. This is like the damage done is coming due. Take, say, I don't know. We're close here. Um, so mysterious, yeah. Um, and then we can like tag the end with your satisfaction is guaranteed here. Maybe it's just the cost of something surreal. The damage done is coming due. Your satisfaction is guaranteed. Is that the vibe? Is that the is that the poem? This is the kind of hobby the Unabomber had, I think. Yeah, I don't I don't do myself a a lot of favors with like convincing the world that I'm a very sane person. Ancient climate, visible change, the globe. Ancient oh, these things. Visible ancient climate, visible change. Ooh, wait, that's kind of I don't know about the globe there. Take ancient climate, visible change. I don't like climate. I just don't. I never intended for the word to be here, and it just ended up in the area. Um, just Miami. Can we have Miami just like in this? What if we put Miami in the poem? Welcome in, waiter Melanie. Hello friends, so many friends. Uh, we are doing some collage poetry and being very insane looking and trying to put together some words. Here to listen to poetry. Unfortunately, I mean, we're sort of constructing poetry, um, and whether it's poetic, I'm unsure. But we have all these words. We're trying to arrange them, and then we'll throw it onto a collage with some cool stuff in the background. With this watch, maybe with this. There's a castle somewhere that we had. Um, yeah, magazine words look good. Thank you. How's your stream later, Melanie? Um, oh, and here's what we have for our poem so far. $49. Art of the past has a future. Masterpieces 78% off. 1-888-870-9513. $87.50 will buy time. Secret treasure 84% off. 1-800-973-3087. The costs of something surreal. The damage done is coming due. Your satisfaction is guaranteed. It's like you're trying to sell me something. That's funny. Yeah, yeah, that's the idea. We're trying to sell you on the plundering of ancient art, waiter Melanie, and your satisfaction is guaranteed. Uh, trying to decide if there should be anything else in here. Um, uh, but this might be enough, you know. Um, right? Like that sounded pretty good. I kind of vibed with that on a pretty overall level. Take could just be the title, right? Like I think take as a title is kind of cool. Maybe um it brings in like the plundering, maybe. It doesn't necessarily bring in like any like money kind of pun. It could just be called change. I don't know if we're using returns to life. Um, yeah, it works well alone. Just because we have extra bits means we got to use them. Is that the stipulation? Is that the challenge that we're trying to use all of the words that we cut out? Man, y'all are making my life difficult. Um, 325 karat gold so I can be alive again. Heck yeah. Um, what happened? Oh, right. Returns to life is like that was the whole thing we were talking about, like paying for resurrection in like a D&D game, right? We kind of lost that plot a little bit. Welcome in Toma Tungsten. That's like tungsten, but not. Um, okay. So take visible change instantly. Oh, take visible change instantly. Moving to my bed and phone, be right back. Yeah, heck yeah, get comfy. Take, where'd take go? Take visible change. There could also be like take ancient something. Um, take visible change instantly. It's just like snatching it up, right? Um, I wish there was like a save. I wish there was a nothing. There's a never. There's a never somewhere. Right? Um, there was a never. I feel like there was a never. And if it was never save, that would be like super dope, right? Uh you stick to your last proposition as a conclusion of the whole thing. I don't 325 carats priced class instantly take the globe. Is that like everything we have left? 325 carats priced class. Instant I like instantly take the globe. That's kind of funny. Um I'm not sure. I'm not sure. um I don't know what to do. I don't know how to like conclude it well. Um the cost of something surreal. The damage done is coming due instantly. Add up. Wait, it could be like add up the change, right? This is like the actual like, you know, shit's bad, you know? Uh instantly priced class. It's just fun to like slide these around, really. You know me, I'll make it dark if I can. Of course you will, right? That's cut more bits. Cut more bits. Okay. um uh oh wait, I like butt. Oh no, everything's gonna slide around. Okay, I should not put this on top of what I'm assembling. Let's be real, Imogen. Let's put it over here, right? Um but right. But add up. Oh wait, can they change is also really good. But add up something. Can they change, right? It's like this question of whether things can get better. Um there could even be this very witty like, can they change? Instantly, right? I might as well take the question mark from this one. Uh and then like stitch some of that together. Okay. Hold up. Can these oh my question mark? Luckily it landed in my lap. Okay. Right. Can they change is awesome. Oh, 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 but add up the costs of something surreal. The damage done is coming due. Can they change? Instantly, your satisfaction is guaranteed. That's kind of a banger. That's kind of a banger of an ending, I must say. uh, right? Oh, and then take the globe can be like the title, right? Or take the ancient globe or take the visible globe. Wait, it could also be like two titles. It could be like take slash save, you know? Um, right, take slash save the globe. This is like a sand mandala. It will all be wiped away in the end, which is beautiful. Well, we might glue it onto something. Like we might do a collage and have a whole background, which would then be immortalized into a piece of art. Um, Save the globe needs sales now. Yeah. Here's an example. VIP Marissa. These are things that I did with poetry that I put on like my typewriter. So these are more, you know, typewritten. But I like to turn them into whole visual things, you know. Uh, so we'll probably do that. I do like the idea of like doing the cutout poetry and messing around with it and then just sweeping it away as well. I think having art that is of a moment. No one open a window. My window is open right now. um, I've definitely like swept my hand through stuff like this though, and like totally destroyed everything I was working on. Uh, it or like set something down and it like made a a breeze, you know, or whatever. Um, okay. So I think this is like roughly the title. We have like some of these things. Like we have the title to figure out, but I think the poem is good. I think I'm happy with this. And there's a break happening on stream, which is good because I need to like get some water and all of that. Ah, you redeemed hydrate. There's a break coming up, so everyone should hydrate. Everyone should take a moment to like not look at the screen and just like, you know, step away from all the, you know, screens and stuff or whatever. uh, and then we'll come back, and since the poem is done, we will start to assemble it into its final pinned down, glued on, immutable, immortalized uh, poetic form, and that'll be the thing, right? Uh, so I'll be right back. Yeah, see you in a second. Hello. Welcome back. It's still me. It's still Imogen. And we are still collaging. And we're gonna make this thing a thing. So there are like two general, well, we have many options, guys, for how to approach putting this onto like a scene, right? One is to start with like a blank white page, right? And start to like cover that page with other things. Another is to like find something that like works as a full page background, like from a magazine, right? And use that as our whole background. Another option, a fun option, is to do a zine, right? A large zine or a mini zine, and it's something that like one can flip through the poem. This one might be a little tricky to zine up just because of the dimensions of some of these words and the amount that we have. So probably not that one, unless we did like a bigger zine. But I think I'm just gonna start with a blank page. I think that makes sense. This one's just very vertical. It's very like page size, right? And if like I think this is like an A4 page maybe. Like this all fits nicely vertically. It's a big space to fill in, and I don't like having white space. So we're gonna need to like do some work to have a filled in background. But I think we can manage, right? I'm gonna drink more water because waiter Melanie, you redeemed that, and I drank water off screen, but gotta prove that I'm hydrating. Yeah. And I closed the window, which is good. What do we think as a background? I mean, we have the watch, right, which can somewhat be involved as a background. Like there's this castle that feels sort of tonally similar. There's also this page that like these black words originally came from that have like these like ancient kind of artifacts, like Buddha heads on them. So we could definitely sort of like really collage it up. I'm not sure I have like a like we need consumerism in my opinion. Oh, like buy this, buy this, buy this, like little things to kind of go with each statement. I like that, right? Like the watch can be like 87.50, right? Will buy time. Like right, like each of these things could sort of be associated with a product that the poem is trying to get us to buy, right? And then like masterpieces 78% off. We could find like a something masterpiece like as art. Art of the past has a future. I don't know what to do for that one, but like we could kind of find things relating to each of them, right? Do we like that? I think that'd be kind of cool. I don't know if it will I mean, you can't know until you try if it's gonna like look good or whatever. I like this idea though. Let's find some modern art for masterpiece. Yeah, I think that's a good idea. I don't know which of my magazines I might find modern art in. Huh. Like I have all these magazines, and modern art is a very specific. It'd be cool to have like art magazines, right? Like None of this is probably... This is where I'm just gonna start throwing things around my room to find stuff. This is like the difficult part of collage for me, where like I decide that I'm looking for something. Do you have a printer? Yeah, but I prefer the process of the search, you know? Like I have this giant bin. I can actually use this camera maybe to show the bin. There's my pants. There's a bin down there. Hold on. That bin is a whole bin full of magazines and stuff. And you know, there's surely something within the bin. And I've never been one to like print things out for the collage, you know. That's just not my style, I guess. How do I get this back where it was? Sorry for like being disorienting as possible. Yeah, no, we'll find something, right? Because okay, there's all these old magazines and pieces of music. Do any of these relate to music? I feel like not. I have a bunch of old music scores and stuff. We could use Salvador Mundi for the masterpiece thing. Yeah, if we found Salvador Mundi. I don't know if I have him hiding in my magazines. I feel like National Geographic like has a chance of having something like modern art, cuz like sometimes they have stuff in the artistic direction, but mostly it's nature and science and all of that kind of stuff. I'm sure we'll be able to find more like Stour advertisements with like shitty jewelry. Warfarin, Eloquist, Butterfly Baby, vacuum cleaners. Oh wait, that's looking pretty like art. That cover. Oh, I don't have a camera on, guys. I was like flipping through things. That's looking, I mean, it's looking very religion, but that is probably a real genuine piece of, it's not modern art, right? It's like old art, but we are talking about like old masterpieces and stuff. So that very well could work. I don't know what else is in here. Got Ukraine. It's interesting to see the articles about like Russia and Ukraine that are from like 12 years ago in the National Geographic. That's like where most of these are dated. These are like 12-year-old magazines, 14-year-old magazines, that kind of thing. We could just take this cover. That's looking pretty like art. It's an option. I mean, art was commissioned by religion for like 1,000 years. Yeah, it was. So, I like the idea of just using like the watch face. This could all be one, right? $49. Art of the Past has a future. Masterpieces 78% off. That could almost just be a big section. I'm not sure then how to like tie those things. We can use scissors on this one, maybe. How to tie those things together and make it like visually well composed. Because I don't like my stuff to feel like it should look artistic, you know, I guess. Because I try to be an artist about it. Probably should cut off the December 2016. And then, ba-bam. Well, I love the sound of scissors crunching on paper. Makes me very happy. So then we have like art of the past. Something else we can do is we can like do something like this and then have a layer that's between this painting and the words that's something a little bit more like visually consistent, because like this piece of art has a lot going on and these words become not very legible. So we can take like another piece of paper kind of in the same in the same way that I have these like typewriter ones where like I could throw white behind those to have them really pop, or a different color, just something in general. Um, and then like throw those here. I like how sad these like nuns look, right? They're like really not vibing with this whole selling of art, which I think is good, right? I think that fits the theme. Uh and I'd like to cut out those two backgrounds are very gold heavy. That is true. That is like a visual consistency that we have going on. A lot of orange and maroon and beige. Yeah. I am going to cut the watch down a little bit. I don't think we definitely don't need like very much of the strap or anything. And I think actually what I'm going to do is like take the clock face like this so it's vertical. And then the 8750 can cover the logo on the watch. And then these things can be arranged somehow within it. And then maybe just take the outside here and keep those shiny glints because those really make it feel like shiny. I think you could eventually just keep the round part. Yeah. If you think about it, gold heavy is on theme. Yeah. So we can try to pick out like gold stuff in general, right? And I think it like sort of contrasts nicely with the blue and all of that. Anyway, cut this down a bit just so more of an idea of the size. This could, this all could like dodge the nun faces. I like doing this where it like wraps around. Um, right, doing something like this where you get like the whole nun thing, and then you have like the watch coming in on the side. 8750 will buy time, secret treasure, that sort of thing. And then there could be like a really stark change at the bottom or something, like a completely tonally different kind of background in which this like bottom stuff occurs, right? So like the ad is like gold and glitzy and all of this, right? Kind of vibe. And then the bottom is something different. That could be cool. That's an idea. I think I want more. Just more wealth on the top part though. More opulence. So we'll find stuff. We're gonna dig through more Nat Geo. There's also, I feel like I have some like luxury like type magazines that are like buying like nice things. Um, let's see. This is clothing, I think. Probably don't want clothing. Oh, there's like pearls though. There's like, see, like that has like pearls and stuff in the back. Mostly it's just pretty people in dresses though, which doesn't quite fit. See, this is like a fashion magazine. Probably can't use much from there. Something white, like background color. Background you could find for some luxury perfumes. Yeah. There are. I have used perfume ads before. Let me see. I'm trying to find a good magazine. Ugh, dropping things. Fashion? Mostly fashion, not so much like cosmetics. Yeah. Keep looking. This is sort of the struggle. This one, this Nat Geo has a whole section about the Bible, and there's probably some like religious ancient looking art. This one, Desert Companion, is like the Las Vegas magazine. And Vegas has a lot of its like glitz and glamour, so there might be some things there. I'm gonna try to move this whole thing off to the side. Like, this could definitely have some luxury type ads in it if we go through. Fancy food, not exactly our vibe. See, like all this stuff, right? And this is probably too modern for ours, but we might find something. Dollars. We could maybe use the dollar. That's I don't really like the dollar. We'll find better. Blah blah blah. Things we don't care about. Ads for the library. Ads for classical 89.7. Food. The dollar is fine, but the red color not going to work. Right. Yeah. Like, I'd say it's fun to have fun at the start when you're collaging, because like everything is open and exciting and you like have all these ideas happening, right? And then you start to like lock in on something specific, and it gets like much harder to find stuff, because you're like looking for, I find myself looking for specific things and saying like this has to fit within the vibe we already have, so it gets like more and more restricted and restrictive the longer one goes, right? That's a really cool photo. I like comment. That desert landscape though, yeah, desert's got pretty things. There's Skull Rock at Joshua Tree. This one's kind of cool too down here. There is lots of desert. I mean, we could do desert on the bottom, right? We have all like the wealth, and then this like add up the costs part. It can be very just like kind of desolate looking, right, at the bottom, which is a good contrast, maybe, right? That Red Rocks? Yeah. I was there like last week. I think that, I don't know, that comet is kind of interesting. I don't know what else is here. I've obviously torn into a lot of this. Is that fire? It's like a fire in California. This one's cool because it's black and white, right? Like no color. That's what I was saying for empty part. Joshua Tree is closer to me than you are. Yeah, Joshua Tree is pretty close to us both. Yeah, so you have like, I mean, the Skull Rock is kind of interesting, right? Because it implies some of that like death, destruction. It's pretty fitting, right? Right? Like this guy. Da 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 da. but add up the costs of something surreal. Try to keep it like away from these trees because they look less desolate. The damage done is coming due. I can take the 18 into Joshua Tree pretty quickly. That's dope. Yeah, it's a few hours away from where I am. I've only been there once. My dad was talking about going back soon. I really like that place. I did a little rock climbing there, and that was super fun. We have this like sunset. Like maybe this. I don't know how to position this. And then this thing has to just like be its own thing, like on white or something. But add up the cost of something surreal is coming due. Can they change? Where'd my question mark go? There's my question mark. Can I have like this sun around these words? Words could all go around it. Something like that. I don't know. Something like that, visually. Not sure, just poking at things. Rocks are ancient. Rocks are ancient, Leon. This skull, the rock is just very like, it's very loud. It's definitely like eye catching. So then it's kind of hard to like throw words on top of it. Like, could just sort of not use the skull and just grab some of this stuff, right? Sort of with the horizon peeking over here, but add up the costs of something surreal. The damage done is coming due. Can they change? You know, something like this. Have to cut off that part, right? That could work. Yes, it's better when it doesn't touch. And we could even like do something like that. Cropped here. Where it sort of feels. And then it's like this tan color, which almost sort of works with some of this stuff. Right. That's sort of like this gold. It's becoming pretty like visually cohesive in terms of color. And then we'll need to add some other things to like make it not look stupid. Basically. I would still keep Skull Rock though. Okay. We can like, the watch is annoying, actually. I wanna cut down the watch so I can get a better idea of how much space it's gonna take up, because right now it's just really blocky and annoying. So we will try to. Oh, this is like the annoying part, right? I think I like the watch coming in from the right side. So I don't need to be like nearly as precise on this side, hopefully, because some of it might be cut off. I don't think I want like the knob. Oh, guys, I just cut your satisfaction is guaranteed in half. It do be like that sometimes. Sometimes you accidentally cut the words you want to use in half. I guess that doesn't happen when you're writing normal poetry. Not something we normally consider as poets. That's super not quite perfect, but that's okay. Oh, this should follow like here. That line. I hate the cutting part. It's so hard. Yeah, I think I messed that up, but it's totally chill and fine because it's not that deep. It's just a silly collage. Okay, watch face, cut out 8750 will by time. I think cutting your satisfaction is also pretty on theme. Yeah, it is. It could also just be satisfaction is guaranteed, and there's that. $87.50 will buy time. I like how this watch just is here. Like I actually I'm starting to like the watch less, like the longer I work on this, but it just feels like intrusive. But maybe it's okay because this is so just sort of obnoxious and it's supposed to be intrusive and annoying, right? Uh and maybe that's okay, right? And then like maybe this can go up here. I think Secret Treasure needs to have a, yeah, it should be like a different thing here. There should be another item uh happening. Like another, we need a secret treasure basically is what I'm saying. I think without a secret treasure this is awkward. Because like these words can chill up here by the ladies' faces and that's cool. Right? And the watch can just be over here. It doesn't need to be particularly linear. But then like secret treasure 84% off, right, should just chill here as a different thing. Which means I need to find secret treasure. And I think I'm just going to try to do it here. I found some like Greek ruins and shit. That's kind of cool. I don't know if that's like secret treasure though. I don't know how much I want to just like throw this on top of here. Maybe I'll hold it up and we'll flip through. Jaguar, leopard, lion, cats, more cats. Yeah, cats. Sad tiger. Dead tiger. That's very sad. This is the part about the Bible. Maybe there'll be some like treasure. Ooh. Oh, that guy's looking kind of secret treasure. Oh wait. These walls that are just like covered in paintings. I want to use some of this. This is interesting. I could just throw paintings around, you know. Like that could be a thing too. Just like throwing more of the masterpieces just like on the page, just around a smattering of fine art could be kind of fun. I like those. What are y'all talking about? There was a French hip hop song on the new season of The Lincoln Lawyer. Leon being French is the topic of conversation. We got some hard hitting rap in France. Do you have any French rap recommendations? Oh, do you know Stromae and Orelsan? Well, I don't. It was Bats Le Rain by Le Auguste. Bats Le Rain would mean not giving a flying fuck, basically. That's awesome. Yeah, if you want to send any French rap recommendations, Leon, I'm very willing to listen to them on my own time. But for now, we're looking for more treasure. Look at this. This is another one of these stupid Stour ads. Look at that silly ring. Any more treasure. Watch. Lots of watches. I think this means like it seems like the audience in this time. Guys, look at this ad. Um I think like the audience in this time of National Geographic is mostly masculine. Like it seems like that's what the ads generally cater to, which is sort of interesting. I guess the Energizer Bunny. Dollars. I don't know. Let's cut out some of these paintings. I guarantee you will fall in love with the artist. I mean, I don't know. I struggle with falling in love. I just wrote another poem about how I struggle falling in love. Um, I don't know if you saw that, Nikki. I was trying to write a love poem and I put it in the thing and it wasn't really a love poem again. I'm not good at falling in love, is what I'm trying to say. But I'm getting better. Oh, I did write another love poem today, actually. I've been trying, Nikki, in earnest. I really have to make some love writing happen. Um, yeah, it's the one in writing. It's called like The Voyage Maiden, I think. That sounds right. Dude, I love this guy. This guy is just he is just a unit, right? Like I don't know if he really fits in this, but like look at this dude. He's just like a guy. He's just big and he has like a stick. And I want that in the collage, you know? Um, all we can ever do is try. Ain't that right? Alarm clock. Got to take my daughter to school. It's crazy that it's like daytime in France or whatever, 'cause it is nighttime in America, and time zones existing is just dope, you know. Where can I put the guy? I just want him. Is he secret treasure? He's saying it. He's like, dude, secret treasure right here. 84% off. Call now, you know. He can just be like coming in from the side. Like, hey yo, get your secret treasure. This collage is like definitely veering heavily in the silly direction and I'm quite fine with it, you know. I guess just kind of it's quite funny. So I think what we're gonna do, I'm gonna try to like cut this down a little bit just so I can work more easily. Right. We're gonna keep half of Skull Rock because then it's like a little bit less intrusive. And this is gonna go like roughly here, and then it's gonna get cut down to size. And then this is where wish I was working on a computer because I could like flip this guy, like invert him. And I don't think I want him like weird and upside down, but I would love him to be coming in at an angle this way, but he's going that way, and it's not good for like the composition. But maybe the watch can be here. This guy can just be like posted up somehow. I feel like it's getting like too chaotic. And just I mean, I guess it's supposed to be like gaudy and chaotic and that's what we're going for. Um we're gonna cut him down. We need him to be a little thinner. I'm gonna take off all this extra stuff. We're gonna do some precision collage cutting. Oh yeah, that was a good cut. That was a good cut. The chaos adds to it. Okay, I'll take your word for it. I'm used to my very like, right. my normal stuff that's very like clean and pretty. and and Stream has induced elements of chaos that I wouldn't normally do. But like, what am I supposed to expect? Like, this is like me making art on a Twitch stream collaboratively, so it's okay to have some fun with it, right? And just have this guy. Who do we think this guy is? Do we think he's like the King of France or something? He's kind of giving King of France vibes. He looks kind of French, you know? I don't know, Leon. Leon might have gone. If you're still here, Leon, does this guy look French to you? Or does he look more English? And I presume the French are good at identifying the English because you like historically hate each other or something. Maybe. So I've heard. He's kind of giving France. He's very French shaped. No insult meant there. He like his robes are giving French. I have an idea for the collage. Let's hear it, Leon. I'm always down for that because I'm feeling mildly lost with this and just letting myself simmer on it while I cut this guy out because he's a guy. Get his arm. Cut out his little baton, stick, wand, scepter. Who knows? Probably a scepter would be the right word. Totally like losing things. See, this is where see, now it's all falling apart. And I lost the part. I lost the other word. There was a word that it was like instantly. I have no idea where instantly went. This is my plight. I'm not very. Oh, it's on the ground. What if you took a white page and cut in it to create ruptures between each of the elements, a bit like comic text bubbles? Yeah. I do like that idea, and I think to create like borders on things or outlines is good to like help them pop, and I dig that. Like this guy could just have like a sort of outline that distinguishes him from the rest. I'm just gonna cut off his stick, high key. I don't want his stick in the collage because it's annoying. He can just be a guy with his hand out. Looks kind of silly, but I guess they broke it. Yeah, I do like this idea, Leon, and I very well might do it on this one to help with the visual clarity, because that can definitely be something that you quickly run into with like words of different colors and sizes. Is like, how do we keep it in order? How do we keep it? That character looks like Genghis Khan. He has a cross on his head, so I'm gonna have to say no on him being Genghis Khan. Right. Cross, I don't think Big G was a Christian. But he is kind of giving, like warlord, He's just here. I would love for this like transition to be better. I think maybe it involves like one way to do it, right, is to like cut out some of this stuff so that her hand is like reaching down into this area. That could be cool. And then this is like a point of no return. sort of move here. We're just going to cut this because I think it will look cool. And sometimes you just got to go with the gut. Go with the gut and make the cut. Oh, that's like poetry. I'm just going to do like that much for now. Right? And then if I like take out some of the hand on both sides, and then she's like reaching down toward this like butt, add up these things, you know. I think it could be cool. I just like creating that sort of layering, and it will look very weird. It's like, where is half of her body? And I like that. Oh, I'm cutting through the thing underneath. I guess that's okay. I should be more careful sometimes. Most times. All the time. Not all the time. We can't always be careful. That would be too careful. Okay. Hand. Reaching down toward, but add up the costs. And then like the watch will come in to make this less weird on the side, right? Where that's gonna chill like that. And then actually maybe we'll like follow her clothing a bit or something, because this, you know, doesn't totally work. So it can go like this. And then we can do like an outline on some other things. It might be best to just outline the text with that sort of like word bubble kind of vibe, as you said. Leone, that could be cool. This man, he's just too here. He's too powerful for this collage, I think. But I do like her like reaching down, like kind of, you know, have this like follow the skull, and then it looks okay, and she's like, but, you know, add up the cost of something surreal. Right, there's actually like something reasonably interesting going on there. Maybe it should be $49. Like up here. Art of the past has a future. Mask. Like this. I'm unsure. This is becoming difficult. Secret treasure. So like these are too big, you know? It's just very big. Like all these phone numbers and stuff. But maybe having that like bubble idea will help. Turning his back on the woman. Oh, like, could you throw king on the left, like vibing on this side? It does sort of like, he does, hold on, like the king, like look at how well this follows like the let's try to put this more on screen. How well this follows the motion of what's going on here, right? Like he really like works there in like that visual, and then it like helps this text all pop, right? Masterpieces, 78% off, right? And it can sort of like follow him. Uh, Something like that. That kind of is cool. And then it won't really be the guy, because like we'll cut off his head up here, or the crown and most of this to like fit him on the page. And then it'll just be more like textural, which is cool. Wonder how high he can come up. The tricky thing is making sure masterpieces like fits on this line. And then the watch can hop in right here, rotate a little bit. Yeah, this is where it gets very like intense. $87 will buy time. So maybe it's just like this. I like covering her eyes with the phone number. That's like really weird, right? Like that's like sort of uncanny and terrifying. I like that. You know, it's like where you have like the blackout. It feels too close to the women. I don't think it can be further from the women. But I like it here because it follows her arm. uh, like I think when this is all in a line, it kind of frames it in a sense. Not well, but it does. If he's over here, then like I have to figure out how to extend the bottom part. Otherwise, it like right because I want it to be a square at the end of the day, you know, or a thing with right angles. I don't want it to just be like an awkwardly shaped thing. It's not my jam. So, I mean, this can come here. I guess that means he could be as far as that. And then the watch, he could come over the watch. Kind of awkward like that, though. Watch should be on top because it's more comfy. Great artistic justification because it's more comfy. That goes there. And then oh, this is so difficult. And then the straight line, the edge is like this. That is okay. Then there needs to be more stuff happening on this side. But that does feel, yeah, like you say, very composed. So I think I'm gonna glue because this side works. We're gonna glue to get man on the page, right? I'm gonna use a fancy glue that I'm gonna brush on to the page. So this has to come back off. He is lined up with about I don't know, 3/4 of a centimeter of space here, with his shoulder reaching the top. Put glue on thing. Glue is clogged as always. Attempt to unclog glue. There we go. Okay, glue. Brush for glue. Where is my glue brush? Where's the glue brush? Where'd the glue brush go? Guys. Where's the brush? There it is. Okay. We're saved. I had like all of this organized before stream and it was all like beautiful. And now my whole room is like just a mess. An absolute disaster. Which is usually how collaging goes. Okay. Glue that down. We're gluing. We're making things final and permanent. It's always a terrifying moment. Glue. Okay. This goes here. I'm going to put the back on first. Okay. We are gluing. This is all very scary. Okay. Glue here. Okay. And then I'll glue this part down. Okay, actually, I dig what's happening. I think this has come together in a reasonably compelling way. There were certain moments where I was beginning to doubt, but I like this. It's very quirky. It's still a very funny piece, but I think it works. Okay. And then we'll throw the watch on, and that will sort of finish the left side in terms of the background and that composition. And I still want to figure out a little bit more to do with the right. And maybe it's just throwing some of the paintings on it because I don't want to cut out more things and I sort of want to be done. And then, because sometimes finishing a piece of art is just saying, like, I want to be done with this. And I think that's okay. Okay. So, all of this goes on. Rinse the brush so it does not glue itself closed. I don't have paper towels, as one would expect. I can wipe it off over here. It looks really cool. I like it. I'm glad. I am liking it. I'm going to try to use the ruler to make a straight cut here. I think that's a reasonable plan. Oh, I can even line it up on the cutting board to attempt a right angle. That is wise, I think. Is there any like actually straight edge on this? Hold on. Okay. See, like, because of how I cut this out, like, none of these edges are actually, like, square. And that really pisses me off. On like, a visceral level. But that's okay. The edge, this ruler also doesn't even, like, sit flat. Knife, please be sharp enough to go through on one go. Okay. I think it's enough. feel like I ended up with not enough of the wash, but that's okay. I think it'll be fine. It'll all fit. Just be not what I expected. Okay, that's fine. Clean up that edge. Cool. Cut off man. Goodbye, man. Okay, I like most of man being gone. I think that's kind of cool. I think I cut too much off. That's okay. Yeah, masterpieces doesn't totally fit within man, but that's okay. Masterpieces can go back on. What if this is all slanted? That's mildly compelling. Do we find that compelling? I like angles. I like things being different. This goes like black, white, black, white. That's kind of cool. Maybe it can really like crunch in like that. Maybe that's where it almost, maybe it's fine. I'm not sure. I'm just saying words. I'm running out of steam here. It's like 10:30, man. I'm glad I'm streaming though. This is fun. Okay. 8750 will buy time. Okay, I want to cover their eyes with phone number. I think this is really cool idea. We're gonna do 1-800 over her eyes. 973 3089. Is that the way to do it? That's probably the, like, one could go this way. Okay, we'll go like that. That's like creepy. I almost think Art of the Past could go down here. That might be crazy. Then man is just chilling. Do we like that better? I think you should exchange the 3089. Okay, you like that readability better? I think that's fair. I wasn't sure. Like, I'm always unsure whether to default of like top to bottom or left to right. Yeah, I think you're right in that one. One option is always even to like draw a little like line going through them, which could be a cool way to like give this some more visual direction, where there's like a little fine liner thing that swoops down and connects some of this. I'm not sure. I do like me a thin black pen. Yeah, I feel like these words being way over on the left is, it's too like crunched up in there. So then this can just be, wait, 87. I don't know if I like this. A piece of yarn would be killer. I could do a piece of yarn. I do have pieces of yarn. And I have black thread. I do like that. Yeah, but 750 will buy time. Okay, well this is set in stone, so I'm gonna glue these ones down because like the time part is not going anywhere. I think we're pretty like set on that. Do, 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 do. 8750 will buy time. Oh. Dope. Okay, that's cool. I like the idea of the bottom text to be some kind of ripple of time. Yeah, I think it can be sort of ripply. All the stone down there is pretty like wavy. There's an ad starting. Um I don't know if I'm gonna like I guess I don't know. There's an ad. There's gonna be a 3 minute break. That's so annoying. I feel like there was an entire ad break that I missed. Like look oh maybe not. I don't know. I'll be back in 3 minutes, I guess. Because I should sip on some water and stuff. And then we'll finish this out in the last hour of stream. Uh yeah. I think it's pretty cool. I think it's vibing. Hello. We are back. uh, we're just going right back into the collage. No need for words or dawdling. There's just a few more things to figure out, and then it will be complete. I have some black yarn, which could be a nice way to connect some of those things. I think we know. Should it be but add up the costs or the costs add up? I like the costs add up, but the costs. Oh no, well it's the costs. Yeah, it can be the costs add up, right? I can bring this a little closer now that it's like a size. The costs add up if I take away the of. Otherwise, it's but add up the costs of, right? Oh, something surreal. Maybe that. But the costs of. Oh, that's what it was. But the costs of something surreal add up. I don't know. I don't remember what it was, actually. I have no idea. Hi, Nikki. Welcome back to you as well. The damage done is coming due. Can they change? And you said something like ripple, like Leone. I could definitely like cut, like if I cut the words apart, it's easier to have them, ripple. I feel like I have a tendency to like if the words came together, then I keep them together. So I'm not sure what to do with that. Like I kind of like these. Here, you know. Imagine if the thread came down like into her hand. It like I'm liking this thread idea, actually. I'm gonna glue down the numbers on their faces. I mean, I might want the thread to go underneath them though. Or the thread can stop. The thread can be multiple threads, right? I don't know. um I should just glue things. I should just do things. I don't know. 1-800. Bum 937. All right, we're committing to censored eyes. That's the phone number. That's actually like my favorite part of this maybe is this phone number over the eyes. I think it's cool. Might be a little much, but it's cool. I like her reaching through this. Ooh, wait. Look at that. These words, framing the side of the watch and then like covering her hand so we like follow these people down visually. And then I don't know what to do with this. It almost feels slightly empty. I guess this can almost act as a title, perhaps. You do but, like right at her fingertips. The costs of something surreal. You could do like Something like this. The damage done is coming to. Can they change? I like that. I do like that. Maybe can they change goes in the corner. That's visually compelling. That's a shape. You know? I think that works. I love how this guy is just here. This statue. It feels very like out of pocket now. Is this like the poem? Is this the vibe? The colors are really interesting. Yeah. Is this the vibe? I think this might be the vibe. uh right? Like that looks fairly complete. Maybe it can just be thinner, right? And then this could cut here, and then it would make it feel less empty on this side if we just cut down the page. The rock looks like a melting face. I love it. Yeah. I guess I don't want to cut too much of Skull Rock off, right? Because it has that melting face vibe. You like the empty? You like having this sort of vacancy? I guess that's fair. Yeah, it might be good. It needs a little trim. Um, but I think you might be right. We'll give it a little trim for evenness. I think if that is a roughly straight line, then we should cut here. Perfect. Okay. Like keep this straight. I should use a better ruler. I don't know why I'm like holding it up. I can also just lay it down like this, and that would be much better. Look at me remembering how to use a ruler. Slice. Oops. Almost cut my finger there, guys. I'm glad we didn't have to do that live on stream. The Imogen cuts their finger off. That would have been unpleasant, I think, for all of us. Okay. Trimmed. Oh, okay. Yeah, I like this a lot. We cooked. We cooked here. Oh, we cooked as fuck. Wait. This is sick. actually very pleasantly surprised by this one. Okay. Masterpieces is like the most important, that it goes like right there across the hand. So we'll start here. And then these will just vibe with the watch face / arm. I think they'll follow the edge like that. 78% off. Should be to the right. I like that compositionally. Okay, this here. Guys, it's almost done. We're doing it. We're like making art as fuck. That's sick. Oh, this is almost like her other hand too. That's kind of cool. I wonder if nah, it should be over here. Yeah, that's way better. Okay. Turn this one over. I hate gluing words. This is the worst part always. I mean, I said earlier that the worst part was cutting and the worst part was looking for the stuff. So maybe I maybe I just need to be a little less pessimistic about all this. The word sounds also have something going on. That looks great. I honestly have like forgotten what the words even say at this point because I've just been thinking about the shape, you know. Okay, art. Come on, art. Stick to my finger. Okay, there we go. When you will read it, you will be pleasantly surprised. Okay, dope. Um, I mean, the ones at the bottom I know like are almost doing like verse like stuff, which is crazy. Um, oh, it goes like 78, 87 if you read it that way. I don't know if you're supposed to read the time part. I feel like the clock does come after this part. Like we go that way. I feel like I could have done these words better now that I. Okay, I like these ones at the bottom, so we'll glue them. I'm not sure about Secret Treasure 84% off, but maybe it's the only thing that like works at the top at this point. Yeah, probably. Okay. But but like a butt. Okay. Word. I really like this. This like going down into her hand. That's like a cool thing. It's like she's pointing at it. Which is cool because like she's the one being like, you know, abused by this phone number. And she's like, but the costs, you know, the costs of something surreal add up. How did I have this? Did I have it as such? Is that? I think that's what we did. So. Ugh. Ah. I'm glad I haven't like dropped any words today. Sometimes I like lose them on my floor and have to go like crawling around looking for them, which would not be a very attractive thing to be doing on stream. So luckily that hasn't occurred. I'm sure it will in the future. I guess I did drop one, but I found it pretty promptly. Pretty promptly. It's good alliteration. Glue these on. Geez, this is a 3-hour stream. That's crazy. it. I've just been like hanging out. I feel like I should have trimmed. I can still trim this ad up just a little bit. Maybe. I don't want to ruin it. There we go. Sort of hard because you throw glue on it and then it's wet. And then it wants to rip, not cut. But good enough. Oh yeah, way better. Okay, lost a corner. That's okay. Shall we still put your satisfaction is guaranteed as the final line? Yeah, probably. If it fits. It can just be over here. Like it can almost just be like an out of pocket thing maybe. I'm not sure. It's like somewhere over here and I don't know where it is. We could also do instantly at the end. Um, can they change instantly? And that's the end. Oh wait, this is supposed to be here. I almost did that wrong. That would have been really bad. uh, I almost did these in the wrong order. We're gonna do that spacing. And then can they change will be like that. Like satisfaction is guaranteed can just chill in the bottom corner, just like surreptitiously blending into the sand. Okay, I do like that. We will end with satisfaction is guaranteed. Because it like looks so good there visually. Let me trim this word down to look nicer. Did I make it nicer or did I make it worse? That is always the question. Did I drop it? No, stuck to my hand. Can they change? Question mark. I think it's cool to do this and that like a lot of these ideas came from chat and that it was a very spontaneous and collaborative effort and it's quite cool. I'm very partial to things like that. My hands are going to be covered in glue just from this one because it's so small. It'd be cool to have like a bunch of words down here that were sort of like fine print, but I don't think I actually really want to do that. And then I guess the title will be Secret Treasure 84% off. I think that is fine. Mostly because I don't have the capacity to think of something better. And Secret Treasure 84% off. It's beautiful, honestly. Thank you. I do my best. Boom. Poem. Yeah, it does look pretty cool, right? You could probably make it even with the ruler left like you did if you want it to be a clean cut. I could make it even like on the like where. I think this well this is sort of weird shaped and the top also needs to be straight. So I should do those things. I think I did get them like fairly right angle, which is sort of impressive actually, because I'm not usually good at that. Cut off the top. But bam. I'm annoyed that the secret treasure one isn't straight, but that's fine. This one needs a little trimming. Beautiful. And this one needs to be a little straighter. Oh yeah, this is like super whack, actually. Ah! Don't drop things, don't stab myself, don't cause bodily harm or harm to the art. Neither of those are good. Cut. Go, 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 go. Don't kill myself. Bam! Oh, that's clean. That's clean as fuck. I think that's the piece. Secret treasure, 84% off. I still like the idea of like the thing going through. 1-800-973-3089. 49. Oh, got the nines. $49. Art of the past has a future. Masterpieces, 78% off. 87.50 will buy time, but the costs of something surreal add up. The damage done is coming due. Can they change? Satisfaction is guaranteed. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. I'm proud of myself in Twitch chat for creating such a thing. Yeah. 3 hours. So it is worth it. It's time for me to like go to sleep. I clean my brush. Always clean your brush. Probably shouldn't do this next to the freshly made art. You redeemed something. It's like celebrating. That's wild. Oh, it's with bits? Thank you. That's very kind. I appreciate that, Nikki. Yeah, so I'll post the thing, the actual thing in the Discord. Let's keep the 325 carats class thing somewhere. Yeah, I can keep some of these words for future times. I'll make a little spot to hold them, because usually the leftovers are still good words, and I still have like the old ones somewhere that I have a bunch of like crazy cool stuff. Man, isn't that so cool? It's like a whole ass art. Yeah. I want a billionaire critique collage. Oh, absolutely. That would be awesome. Yeah, with the class and all of that. I meant to do it to my face, not to that screen. Cool. Yeah. Art. Thank y'all for sticking around and hanging out with me while I collage. I think that I appreciate it, and I had lots of fun on this stream, and I think I'm gonna try to do these at least for now every Thursday night. Right? That's what tonight is, Thursday. And then going forward, just the one for now a week, and then if I continue to like it and do it and words, then there may be more potentially, because I really love making these things. I think it like works with how my brain works. I think it's cool with chat because y'all get to say like, what if we put this thing here, and it's my art. my art on stream. On a future one, I definitely want to like do some where I do the typewrite out the poem beforehand so that I can say like, oh, I'm just going to do this stream with a poem that I've already done, because that will also let me do some of, my poetry, um, as opposed to like the random generative stuff. It's very complimentary to the poetry analysis streams, right? It's like the complete opposite, right? Where the analysis is so structured and uh, not structured. It's not always structured, but it's very thinky and it's very analytic. And then this is like just about as intuitive and spontaneous as it can be, right? I wouldn't mind a musical stream now and then. Yeah, we'll figure it out. Very curious about the punk band. Yeah, I mean, I unfortunately can't play punk on my own, with saxophone and piano. Um, but something I do want to do is like I've been like sort of learning piano, um, and I want to do like chords and improvised stuff with spoken word, um, as like a performance thing with my poetry. And I that's still like a ways off, but it could be interesting to like do some of that live as a some slam kind of. Yeah, but like with music, so not entirely slam, right? I would, it's still my poetry. It's still very like cerebral. Um even like the what I was talking about, the other love poem that I wrote today. Um like even and it was very sound. It was very like technical, but even that one like isn't doesn't get super close to slam. I would love to also do improvised music with improvised poetry. That'd be super cool. I wrote this poem called Simple Machines, which is like very spoken. It's not quite slam though. Um, uh, but yeah, Simple Machines. We are simple machines, moving in tight circles, swaying on a fulcrum, making each other stronger. We are pushing and pulling. We are horizontal then vertical, ever changing. We are making noise. Scraping and sliding, dancing mechanical, methodical in our friction, making simple songs. Sighing, shrieking. That's a word that I just can't read at all. Uh, uh, I should. Anyway, something. Humming, drumming, thrumming, making motion come. Constantly, you and me, machinery made perfectly, efficiency in simplicity in we. Yeah, sort of a love poem, sort of a sex poem, actually. Um, uh, but that one's more spoken, right? More rhythmic. Grand Corps Malade in France is a French performer that does that. That's cool. I will. I mean, it's French, so it might be hard for me to understand, but I will. I will look. I'm telling you, I have a song I would love for you to put to music. The love poem you wrote had a nice ballad feel to it. Yes, it was a ballad. A little different from yours because I had 8/7s and they were strict, and then but it was like six with a tag, right? Where everything was uh I don't actually remember my probably have it in my notebook, right? Um, right. Take it places where it's sort of like a six syllable thing with a lift. Um, I did like that poem. Um, yeah. And Nikki, perhaps when I'm a little more musical, um, perhaps I could do something like that. That would be interesting. But I'm not there yet on the piano skills. It's a ways away, and I've just now added these streams. So it'll be a while for me to like get used to these and make sure they're good. Um, Potentially add another one, and then that's a point where I would be like, do I want to branch out? Do I want to do other things? So it'll be a bit before any of that stuff. I'm tired. um, Free verse and music make it hard though, or maybe that's my personal taste for it. I mean, like rap is free verse. It's just rhythmic, right? I think rhythm actually like locks in free verse really well. Um, where like there is no strict verse. Like yes, there's rhyming, but it's like very loose. Like it exists somewhere in between, and like I think these things could work well. I also like the idea of doing like really like chill ethereal piano or synth stuff and just like saying words, you know, um, and it being like super non-rhythmic and just being very floaty, relaxing, like lull you into another state kind of performance, you know. Um, like I've experimented with some things with other people um, where like I've like told stories in a poetic way to people one on one usually, um, and sort of like instructed them to like visualize certain things and sort of like guided their mind into like other places and scenes, and I've helped some friends like relax that way by talking improvised for 20 minutes about them looking at the stars. Um, and I think it would be interesting to have music going on with that and just sort of in a very improvised way, like taking an audience through another place, you know? That's very compelling to me. So there's something very hypnotic about that, you know? Spam chat, should I remove since I'm the mod? Yeah, you can. Um, I uh it's funny. One time one of them popped up and I like didn't ban it, and there was this person in chat who was like, "Damn, you're like so chill. You're not even like banning the bots." Um, and I'm like, "Yeah, you're right. That bot can't hurt me. You know, I don't need to ban the bot. Everyone here knows that's a bot." um, and uh, so I don't care whether they're there or not, you know, because it's just a message in a chat. It can't hurt any of us. Um, yeah, no pressure, Nikki. I don't feel any pressure, so you're good. I Yeah. You made some AI music from your text. I know it's not art per se, but it's oddly satisfying. Yeah, I mean it's interesting sometimes to like see what AI will do. I've known people who like put their poems in as a visual prompt on like a generative AI thing, and it can be kind of neat to see like um what what happens, you know? Um but yeah, those, and I know you probably understand Leon, right? You said not art per se. It's not something that should then be like redistributed as art or be shared without the caveat. Want to listen to it? Not really. Hello, first time watching something on Twitch. First time watching anything on Twitch? Wow, okay. I'm a bit of a creative narrative writer. How do I get my inspo? Um, how do I get my inspo? Inspiration comes from everywhere. Um, and this is my answer as a poet. Uh, where I'm gonna go back to this screen. This is what we were doing earlier today. We were doing this collage stuff. Um, and I think, you know, what I was doing is I was taking pictures and I was cutting things out that seemed interesting and taking like words that seemed neat, um, for this particular piece, right? Um, but in general, with writing, I find that, you know, like it's sort of a cop out answer. Like inspiration can come from anywhere, but when you so as a poet, right? I write about the things I see. Um, and the more that I listen and the more that I pay attention to like small things that are beautiful that catch my eye, and when I allow myself to like slow down and enjoy life, um, and notice tiny bits of beauty, like the inspiration comes from the strangest places, you know. Um, I like sometimes a phrase will pop into my head. That's what happened earlier. I wrote a poem called Simple Machines because just the phrase simple machines came into my head, and I'm like, that's kind of poetic, you know? But, you know, you say you write narratives, and that's a little bit different, right? For like a story, like how do we get inspiration for these larger, um, projects, these things that go beyond that like intimate moment of observation? And I mean that's a really good question, right? How do you get inspo? And usually for me, you know, I think it has a lot to do with like knowing what you enjoy, and knowing what you don't like as well. Like having taste in art, like read stuff so you know what you like and you know what you don't like. But you know, let's say you're writing fantasy as your narrative, right? um you read a lot of fantasy and you realize I want a fantasy story that exists in this way that I haven't found before. You know, let's say you want a fantasy story that is really slow and peaceful, and you don't want all like the swords and the fighting and the magic, and you don't find that represented anywhere in what you're reading. So then maybe you say I'm going to write that myself. um like it can just come from your own life, you know. um right, like, um I'm writing a novel. I'm writing a novel, we'll put that in heavy quotes, you know. um uh that is about a girl who takes a bike trip. She bikes solo across the country, and she grapples with her own faith. And she sort of loses her mind as she becomes distant from, the God that she believes in, right? And in a sense, a lot of the inspiration for a story like that comes from my own life. I really want to bike across the country, but I haven't. So it's like a vicarious thing, you know? I want to write about this thing to experience. Uh, the difficulty of grappling with belief and faith in things is, you know, something I've been working on, right? Um, and that's just something that's compelling to me. I struggled with mental health and like suicide stuff, so I wanted to put that onto my page. It's a very autobiographical kind of thing of pulling different parts of me, but the things that you feel most strongly within yourself, and then the things that most strongly resonate outside of yourself, right? Um, that's inspiring enough for me. Hi, Death's Head. Welcome. The Ents from the Lord of the Rings came from Tolkien being disappointed that the moving forests weren't literal. Yeah, I mean, it can come from so many places, from folklore, from the past, from whatever. Um, yeah, that's awesome that you can just figure out where your inspiration comes from. I usually walk in circles around my home and then spontaneously mutter myself. And I mean, that's okay as a thing too. Like if walking in circles and muttering is where the ideas generate from, then like, you know, that's the action you take to get inspiration, right? That's fine. The mind is a very strange thing. It has all this like subconscious stuff happening all the time, and sometimes just like sitting or pacing around and thinking, what do I want to write about? Like sometimes things pop out, right? um Stephen King treats it as a habit. He has a schedule. Every morning he gets in front of a white page. Couldn't be me. um yeah, you're the so same for me, true saint of steel. I cannot usually force myself to sit in front of a white page and just write. um I have a notebook that this fits in my pocket of pretty much anything I'm ever wearing, or I can slide it under a belt, which is also stylish. um and in this notebook, if I have an idea that comes up to me just like during the day, because so many ideas are just spontaneous, I can write it down, right? And I can keep it for later. And even if I don't come back to it, I wrote it down, right? And that might help me remember it later, or it'll bubble back up 6 months later, that kind of thing. Um, is I think for me, right? For me, it's readiness. Um, I'm always doing lots of different things in my life. Um, Always going in different directions. Just um, and inspiration can happen at any time for me. I think that's a very poetry kind of thing. So I be ready, right? Because I can't make myself sit down. I can't make myself sit and write a story. So when the story comes, you know, I I better I better have the pen nearby to capture it. Um, Mad is not a bad place to be as a writer. True that, Leon. Thank you. I've been told so many times that I sound insane or I should wake up to the real world, but I enjoy it. Plus, having ADHD makes it difficult and it helps me stim. Heck yeah. Yeah, I think, every mind works differently, right? And um, more important than, I mean, I always struggle with people who talk about like word counts and routines, um, because those don't work for me. But also, I think a lot of people like look at other people's writing routines and say like, oh, so that's the right way how to do it, and I need to like apply that to myself and like fit into the mold of the right way. Um, and I mean, art is art. Like, there's no right way, there's no wrong way um, to approach it. Um, you know, and no, like that's dumb. so, so then it's looking at one's own mind and one's own processes and saying like, okay, I have ADHD. Okay, I, you know, am weird in whatever way my mind is weird, which is like some kind of autism. Uh, like, um, and saying like, or like someone is just super busy all the time and like that makes writing look different for them. And you say like, okay, so I have this situation in which I am in. I have um, this stipulation of who I am, of how my life currently is, and then within that framework, right? Um, I find a way to create art. I find a way to write. Right? That's the idea. I did National Poetry Month once, and it about killed me. Yeah, I bet. There was a period where I was writing like I was like, I'm gonna write two short poems a day, and I'm gonna post them on the internet. I was posting them on like Twitter, um, and I lasted about 3 months, and I burnt myself out so deeply. Um, but I did write like 100 something poems in that time. Uh, yeah. uh, I would even say being mad is actually a prerequisite for artistry. I don't think so. I think unless mad is like creative or free. I mean, I don't know. I write better from the depths of sadness than from anger. Oh, you meant madness. Never mind. You guys want to read an excerpt from a short story I'm doing? I won't right now because like I need to end stream because I'm actually like falling asleep right here. Um, because this is not my normal stream time. This is my first time streaming at this time, and I like it, but I'm tired, and I got to do like the cutoff. It's time to sleep. Um, but as Leon says, so like um, I have a Discord server that is linked somewhere on the Twitch. And if you go in there, you can either just share stuff like in writing and the writing channel, um, and people like might read it and give you some feedback. And then the other thing is that twice a week on my streams, um, twice a week on my streams on Mondays and Wednesdays, I read poetry and or like short stories, essays, mostly poetry, um, from chat that they send in like the stream submissions channel on the Discord. So if you put it in stream submissions, it means at some point if you come back, I only do it when people are like in chat when they're hanging out. Um, but if you come back on one of those streams, then you know, I mean, there's a whole bunch of people who submit, and it's just sort of like it's pretty loose, but like there's a chance, there's a pretty good odds that at some point, I would read it. And when I read them on stream, uh, I'm so tired. I'm like trying to piece these words together. um, I like I spend like minimum like an hour usually with a piece, sometimes more, where I'm like scribbling all over it and giving my thoughts and really like trying to break it down and talk about it in a meaningful way. More so than just like a I like this, I don't like this. It's good, like really, I try to give the art the time that it deserves, I guess. Uh and I guess like for reference, I'll just pull up one of the poems. Like this is actually a poem by a a poet named Sharon Olds, but like you know, just lots of breaking it down, trying to understand, right? Um, it's what I do. So uh, if that's interesting, you can do that. People seem to like when uh, I, a internet stranger, read their art for a few hours. So um, you might like it too. I don't know. And thank you for following. Glad to have you. Um, you're better than me. I could not manage my own sleep schedule, dude. It's hard. Sleep is a difficult thing, and we live in a very stimulating, very addicting world. So I would never, you know, you can't blame someone for struggling with sleep. It is important. I think it's one of the most like fundamental things. And if you don't like your life, um, you're like depressed or whatever, like whatever people struggle with, like um,
Uh, I think sleep is like the first thing to fix. And then if stuff is still bad, then other avenues. But man, sleep, it's important. I mostly just want someone to read my stuff, TBH. Otherwise, it's just gonna sit around in my computer files. Well, you're absolutely welcome to just like come in and like share it in the main like writing channel in the Discord. Um, uh, and like that's dope. People, I think people in the community like seem to generally read that stuff. like like usually at least one or two people I think will give things a read. Um, and I'm sure as we get bigger, more people. I think the more people that post stuff, the more people will read. I don't know. Um, and then if you want to like see it happen live and see like me really going through the work, that's where you would submit within the stream submissions. It's kind of the vibe. Um,
You could also try to like send your short stories off to like literary journals, if you just want something to do with them. I wouldn't pay to submit places, but it can be like a fun experience to like submit stuff. Um, can I suggest another writing streamer Discord I'm in? She looks over people's submissions and gives feedback live. Yeah, definitely always feel free to like recommend people. There's like the cryptid one who I just found their stream like the other day, and then there's also Amata, a moth in the archive. Um, I think those are the two who really do it. I was really liking Cryptid Roots's like vibe when I came into their stream for a minute. They seem really chill and uh, it's cool to it's cool to have another person doing uh, the sort of reading feedback thing. I think that makes three of us now. Me, Cryptid, and Amata. Maybe maybe Terrible Novelist does it sometimes. There are a few of us. Um, it's much more valuable content than writing sprints. Uh, I will never not dog on the writing sprint people. Um, as nice as many of those people are. uh, not a writing sprinter here. Does also hold my pen. Don't know him. Uh, yeah. Oh yeah, a moth in the archive does like prompts. That's true. Um, it's mostly reading though. I see. That makes sense. She looked over one of my stories, gave good feedback. That's good. I'm part of Hold My Pen too. I guess I'm everywhere. It's crazy to me that y'all are like so around in streams and stuff because I just don't watch that much Twitch. I respect the grind. Respect the grind. Mama Buckle is good if you're doing scripts. Oh, interesting. Sounds like there's a lot. Yeah, Amata, there's rules and stuff. Yeah. um, my channel's super chill. I'm like just send whatever. Um, I feel like that works for me, right? How do you submit a short story to Cryptid Roots? I think it's in their Discord server that they have like a similar setup to mine, except maybe they don't have like the forum vibe. They have like the just a channel where you drop links. Um, yeah. Trallion is also pretty chill. I've seen them before. I think I follow them. I haven't been in their stream much. Um, yeah. There's a lot of us. It's growing, right? It's good that writing on Twitch is growing and all of that. I think it's cool. It's a good space to be teaching and to be sharing information about writing and to be building community. I think it's good. Um, yeah. Well, on that nice uh, uh, I know I tried, got one or two read, but too many rules feels counterproductive to me. But I get why Amata is big. Yeah, I mean they're very like very structured, very locked in. It's kind of cool because it's easy for people to participate if it's like fairly short stories. So that it makes sense, right? Um, anyway, yeah, I'm done. Sleep well, Nikki, since you're also on the time zone where you should be going to sleep. If you're not, then it sounds like you've got sleep schedule problems too. Um, but good night, Leon. Good night, Nikki. Thanks for coming in, True Saint. Hope to have you back. Yeah, Leon, enjoy your morning. Um, and thank you all for hanging out while I did some art. It's pretty cool. And who else? Death's Head. Glad to see you. Always a vibe. Um, next stream is Saturday. Saturday at normal noon Pacific time, which we'll be reading a classic poem. Uh, I feel like I want to read some Langston Hughes, but that could definitely just change on Saturday morning depending on my mood in the oh my mood in the moment. So we'll see. Anyway, I've been Imogen. I've been 2/3 Lotus Ginny. I'm very tired. Um, thanks for watching, and know that I'm loved. You're loved too, Leon. And keep making art that you love, because that is important. Keep making art you love. All of you. Or else.